Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Jean-Philippe Gillet of Intelsat. Jean, we've spoken before, but I want to talk to you about the EMEA region. Where do you see the growth areas in the EMEA region for Intelsat?
So we see a lot of potential growth. We see potential growth for broadband activities. A lot of our cellular backhaul customers, so the MNOs, have need to either connect the unconnected or to provide more growth for the existing customers. We see growth on the enterprise market, on the mobility market, so providing services to ships, cruise ships, any type of vessels, providing services to airplanes. We really see a lot of growth on that field. And finally, especially in Africa, DTH and DTT, the switch over from analog to digital has not happened in all of the countries. We see a lot of potential demand there.
Now, we all know Africa still has a huge population of those unconnected. How is Intelsat going about addressing those needs?
So we really design our future satellites with that in mind. We really have in mind that you have two trends. More throughput needed, meaning that people are communicating more and more, and they have an insatiable need for more connectivity, access to the web wherever they are, access to their email wherever they are. So that's one aspect, the ability to provide more to the ones that are already connected. But as you said, today in Africa, we still know that 70% of the population doesn't have any coverage. So how do you manage that? And this is the beauty of the future generation satellite that we just launched a couple of weeks ago. We launched a satellite that has footprints over Africa that will allow not only to go to rural area with a cost which is going to be cheaper, but also which is going to use less bandwidth and less power. So what does that mean? One of the key challenges in rural Africa is to get access to power. The minute you are able to reduce the kit size, then you have the ability to use solar power, and Africa has a lot of solar power. So then you find ways to connect the unconnected with equipment that are cheaper and relying on power.
Now, not all HTS satellites are created equal. What's so special about Intelsat's new fleet, and what's it actually bringing to the customer?
So what's epic about Epic? There are many things that's special about our satellite. First, we are the first into the market with a true global coverage. So we launched our first satellite, IS-29, in January. Now in August we launch our second satellite, and these are the first two satellites that are going to be part of a global fleet. On top of this Epic coverage is coming in addition of our standard coverage. So you really have to look at it as layers of satellite on top of each other, which provides better reliability. We also wanted our customers to be able to reuse their equipment. It's not just about what's going on the satellite, it's also what's going on from a total cost ownership. Can I reuse my equipment? Can I reuse my equipment on the ground at the teleport, but also on the ground at the customer side? So we provide a service which has what we call the backward compatibility, so you can use your existing equipment. But the beauty of it is really that you deliver more with less. So the ability to distribute content to smaller dishes, the ability to provide more throughput to a plane, the ability to provide more throughput to an MNO somewhere in Africa. So it's really around all of that. We have done testing and we just completed testing with 6 different equipment manufacturers where we see the improvement on total throughput from 60 to more than doubling the total throughput. So what does that mean? That means you make it easier for the customer to deploy, you make it cheaper for the customer to increase their total throughput.
Now, moving into a slightly different area, 4K. Now, there seems to be the start of the uptake in 4K, but is it the game changer that the satellite industry was hoping for?
So, 4K, of course, the satellite is a component. The reality is not the only component. You need to have the content ready, you need to have the set-top box ready, and so on. So, what do we do on our side? And again, I'll look at our next generation satellite and the EPIC satellite. We just completed a test where we are able to transmit a 20 megabit channel, which is typical of a 4K channel, onto a 6 megahertz bandwidth. So what does that mean? One of the barriers today on 4K is the total cost of distributing 4K. And the only way you can mitigate that is by using better technology that then allows you to reduce your cost. So our contribution is really just to push the technology in order to be able to make it more affordable. Is that going to change the 4K distribution tomorrow? Certainly not. This is really a key component. You need to look at it from a customer standpoint. The consumer is not going to pay a lot more to receive 4K. So how do you make it more affordable? But we think we are at the point where there is a nice momentum.
Now, finally, we hear a lot about Intelsat's globalized network. What does that actually mean, and what does it do for the customer?
So, what is a globalized network from our standpoint? It's really to integrate the different components of the patchwork that we are putting together. So, you have EPIC, it's multiple beam satellite high throughput, but you have also the traditional coverage. And what do? We link that together. On top of linking it together, we put the ground infrastructure, which is going to help our customers to really access the resources in the satellite. So what is a globalized network? It's really a simple access to the whole of the network in place of just one single satellite or one single fiber, one single teleport.